Ladies and gentlemen, when we are right about something, which happens every single day, when we predict things first, we come on air and point it out so that you understand we know what we're talking about. When you've studied criminology, but also democide, and the psychology of governments throughout history and in modern times, they follow handbooks and scripts. Not the public playbooks you hear about, the PR playbooks, but the real playbooks. Now, about an hour and a half ago, we shot a video titled Chris Dorner Cornered, CNN Cuts Live Feed. As you can see, just posted about an hour and a half ago, and the people in the comments are absolutely flipping out because I say, look, normally when they cut a feed, as they did at Ruby Ridge and at Waco, they're going to fly in with a helicopter with a bladder hanging from it, a tank, a bucket with a remote control bottom, where they dump gasoline and then drop an incendiary on top of it. They can also have robots come up now and do it. It's standard. If they go for a nationwide gun confiscation, the standard operating procedure is to just burn your house down. So that's why if it ever goes to a civil war, which we're trying to stop, you don't want to wait at home, okay? It's offense time. We're trying to stop this, and most police and military are good patriots and are waking up. But with this Dorner situation, and him reportedly shooting and killing another police officer, it's just terrible, and a lot of crazy people out there cheering him on, the police go into killer mode, and the safest thing to do is to go and burn down the building. This was done at Waco with 17 children under the age of 10. The Delta Force went in, it came out congressional hearings. They've been given orders to, quote, pull triggers and take people out. They went in, used an anti-personnel mine to blow up the church records vault. It was a mass killing. And I've seen this over and over again. They burn buildings down instead of going in when people have already killed police. It is standard procedure. So I predicted that they would indeed, an hour and a half ago, burn this guy out. Go watch the video at INFOWARS.com, and PrisonPlanet.com is titled Chris Dorner Cornered, CNN Cuts Live Feed. Now, coming up in just about 10 minutes, I'm going to be live at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv with our anchor, David Ortiz, covering all this. So come over to PrisonPlanet.tv right now and watch it. We'll break down the latest. But let's play a short clip of CNN that just aired 10 minutes ago where they talk about a flashbang did it. Folks, flashbangs aren't incendiary enough to do this. It's always an accident. And then his ammo made it all burn down. The house now in red flames. It started out with smoke like this.
Flashbang, as you suggested, it could get hot enough to set off the ammunition?
That's correct. There's that potential. And then again, as to what he actually was armed with, we have no idea at this stage of the game what he was carrying with him. In the sense of, you had an early report from the owner of the house that all the power had been shut off in that house, gas, water, etc. So
we're about to see the smoke.
Going into the,
that's a gasoline or oil fire, the black smoke.
That's shut off.
See the red flames right down here?
Again, it's a number of things that could have caused a fire to start. And possibly he himself could have ignited something inside.
Oh, yes, he burned himself up. Just like the Davidians.
Use that term for a wide range of potential devices they could use.
Chief, I got to just jump in here. We're seeing now.
That's enough. Okay, so in closing here, we called it again, and I said just like Waco, they'll say that he burned himself up. It's standard procedure, okay? That's how I know this whole event wasn't staged, because I've learned the standard procedures. This part is staged because the scripting wasn't right up front. It was one of their guys who loved Obama, loved Piers Morgan, and loved disarming people. He fit into their MO, but he got kicked out of the cult, so he went haywire. This guy was out there on the street all day. Who knows what the true story is? We'll cover it coming up in just a few minutes at PrisonPlanet.tv and InfoWars Nightly News. I hate to say it. See, we told you so. Again. Now it's in complete orange flame. That was from 10 minutes ago.
Live, this is One for the Record. I'm Diana, and today is February 13th, 2013. It is Wednesday evening, hump day, and here are your updates for today. Alrighty then, Remember, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. You gotta call your mom. You gotta give your girlfriend or wife a gift. Better make reservations tonight, 'cause tomorrow it's gonna be too late. Plan ahead. Valentine's Day has wrecked many of a relationship because you have not been prepared. Heads up. This is a very important day for a lot of couples, especially women. Alrighty then. If anything, a card and flowers. Can't afford anything? Then make your own card. Go outside and pick from the garden. And even if you're broke, you can come up with anything. Alright, just something so you don't forget. Alright, just don't forget this day, and make sure you call someone that means a lot to you. Alright? Some kind of relative, parents, even if it's just a call to say Happy Valentine's Day, even if you do it early because you got to work tomorrow and you'll be busy all day. Do it tonight then. But just a heads up. Heads up. It's a very important day, especially to a lot of women or someone that feels close to you. Alright? I'm giving you this heads up right now just to help you guys out. Alright, moving on. I will be showing you part of the meaning of life. The truth. I'm going to attach it after this video. It's the, part of the truth. No one really knows, but you always wondered what his life is all about. Here's one of the answers to that question. And don't forget Valentine's Day. Here we go. The Watchers watching the world. Diminishing Arctic sea ice. Cyrosat reveals facts about ice volumes. Also, today, new eruption of Palalua volcano. Also, tropical cyclone Gino formed in southern Indian Ocean. And I believe that was yesterday. Alright, moving on. E&E News, Energy News. Let's go into Fukushima, Japan. We'll do that next. Today, the 13th. More Photoshop at Fukushima. TEPCO finishes soundness inspection of Unit 4. Also today, watch. Japanese journalists reveal radiation cover-up after Fukushima. Also today, Kyoto. 10 Fukushima children believed to have cancer, 70% female. Several already had surgery for thyroid. Crimes against humanity. That's all I have to say. And the world of the green people and all your non-profit organizations, they let it happen. There you go. Alrighty then, moving on. Photos. Large device that fell in Fukushima Unit 3 pool was found on the fuel rack. Apparently narrowly avoided striking and damaging liner. Yesterday. Video. Fukushima child has radioactivity of 6,000 disintegrations per second in body. Crimes against humanity. This should not be happening. Right, UN? Right? Everyone that's worried about the world and the carbon taxes and everything? Oh, okay then. But I have the explanation for this if you stay tuned after this report and updates. Excuse me. AP. U.S. Canada. Louisiana sinkhole continues to grow now. 7,500 square feet of land has crumbled and fell in. Yesterday, TV. Record numbers of sickened sea lions pups in Southern California. Something has changed. We are preparing in the back of our heads for the worst case scenario. I'll tell you what it is. It's called the radiation coming from Japan into the Pacific Ocean and going towards the U.S. Not very hard, not rocket science. Alright? Alrighty then, moving on. Let's see what you have here. The Extinction Protocol 2012 and beyond. Are China and Japan moving closer to war? Japan proposes military hotline with China. Magnitude 5.1 earthquake strikes near Nevada-California border, creating flurry of aftershocks. Also, heightened volcanic activity reported in the Solomon Islands region. Yesterday, part 2. Extinction level supervolcano growing in the Pacific. Heads up. Alright, it's Wednesday, hump day. It is 3 days down, 2 to go before the weekend. Now stay tuned and make this video go viral. I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow on the flip side. Take care, be safe, and do not forget Valentine's Day tomorrow. Start preparing tonight. Start making calls tonight if you have to. Take care and stay tuned.
It is this feeling that has brought you to me.
What is the universe as we perceive it? It is information. The universe is information and decoding information. And if you take the analogy of a computer, when you put information into a computer in the way of a disk or data stick, what you're putting in there are not pictures and graphics and texts coming up on the screen. They're not on that information source in that form. They are codes. They are mathematics and electrical pulses. The computer then decodes that into the form that we see on the screen, which is all the things that we call the internet and computers. We are doing the same through a holographic biological computer of enormous advancement that we call the human body. And we are picking up information sources, and we in the form of vibrational information, waveform information, which is then turned by the 5 senses into electrical information, which is communicated to the brain, and from that information the brain constructs the reality that we think we're experiencing outside of us, but it's actually inside of us in the sense that I'm describing. Now, say you had, and I'm suggesting very strongly, Alex, that this is the situation we face. Say you had a reality where the information source is giving you a certain information from which you are decoding a reality. And it's a reality that is fantastically different to this one. It's about love. It's about the expansion of awareness, knowing that we are infinite consciousness having an experience. We are not the experience itself. We are not our name. We are not our job. We're not our life story. That is the experience. We are the consciousness having that.
The system doesn't want that, because like Bill Hicks said, hey, the guys that say this is all just a ride, we kill those people.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why they do that. This is why so-called visionaries have always been dangerous to the prevailing order, no matter what point in what we call history you look at. But say this happened, and I'm suggesting it has happened. If you have a computer system and it's giving you a certain reality on the screen, there are people, we know this now, it's a fundamental part of life, who can hack in to that computer and give it a fake information source, which the computer then decodes and therefore creates a very different reality on the screen.
I remember first reading one of your books about 17 years ago when I'd first gotten on air, and my cousin had read it a year before. So it was whatever book you'd written 18 years ago. I forget the names. And I'm like, this is far out. This is crazy. And my cousin's like, no, this is really interesting. This guy's really interesting. So I read it and found it to be interesting. I forget which book that is. Maybe you can remind me. But you were talking about a three-dimensional, the universe being a hologram, projected by what? again, this isn't even attacking Christianity or religion from my perspective. This reaffirms my faith because, I mean, this is a giant universe, hundreds of billions of galaxies, and there is this force they're finding in genetics, in the wave theory, in everything that's making the scientists realize this is designed. And now we realize that the establishment knows this. They're trying to keep us from learning that we've been hacked, and they are trying to force the red carpet, the glitz, the glam, the fake culture in on us. They're trying to destroy the family, destroy the individual, destroy the nation state. What are they trying to build? Because they see us as viruses. David, you've laid out your theory probably, let's not exaggerate, 40, 50 times on my show graciously. Over the last, I don't know, 12 years or so we've been talking to each other. Folks know what you've said. They know what the scientists are saying at more and more major universities that have these supercomputers and these devices that can measure, literally the ether that the ancients talked about. What is it then? What are they trying to build? What do the controllers want? What are they trying to block us from? Realizing there's a whole universe and they're not God? I mean, what is it?
Well, the thing is, Alex, that the next step on from what they're discovering is what exactly are they discovering? Is it the universe as we perceive it, or is it the hack? And I would strongly suggest that what science has been poking around at and trying to understand and going down cul-de-sacs galore, because it won't go where the real information is, because the whole foundation of its mainstream science...
The universe is the hack. That's what I was saying to the guys the other day, that what they're seeing is the hack.
Well, what they are identifying is, yes, the hack. And what are they going to find is that the speed of light is not only not the fastest speed in existence, it's pedestrian compared with what is possible. And that the speed of light is the wall of the hack. And, this is so important if we're going to get anywhere with putting this world right. Is actually, wouldn't it be nice if we started to understand what the world is? That would give us a chance, wouldn't it? Let me just put this to you. We are receiving, according to mainstream science, about 11 million pieces of what they call impressions, light impressions, information, in other words, or bodies of information, to the eye, 11 million every second. The brain takes 40 of those to construct the reality we think we're experiencing. We can only decode through the body in what we call the physical world a unbelievable fraction of what exists, even within the electromagnetic spectrum. This tiny frequency range called visible light is all we can see. And outside of that, you've got the X-ray level and the infrared level and all the others. We can't see those. That's how tiny this frequency.
And now they've proven the dark matter. It's gone from theory to and now they're learning that 97% of everything is dark matter. What is it?
Well, they call it dark matter. I just call it the invisible and the visible to the conscious mind. And the visible it's laughable. It is so tiny, it is laughable. That is the hack, and the electromagnetic spectrum and within everything within the speed of light, I suggest is the hack. And what all they're doing is, and that scene from The Matrix you played before we came back, it's all around you, Neil, even in Neo, even in this very room. That is the information source. It's everywhere.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done has been right. Disease. Do the global controllers want more of us, or are they really going to try to go to robots because they'll follow orders? But the establishment loves to feed on humans like a predator class. They call themselves another species in all of their literature. The psychopath class. Will they actually get rid of us? What is their in-game goal if they had their way, David? And then get back into the nature of reality and then those other subjects.
Well, I think in terms of numbers, from a control point of view, humanity is out of control in terms of numbers, and they want to bring the numbers down dramatically. They this is basically, I suggest, what has happened after a quarter of a century of researching this in 50-odd countries. The hack is basically a bad copy of the reality we should be experiencing and would be experiencing without the hack. And they have, I mean, if you look in the ancient world, all over the ancient world, and the Garden of Eden and all that stuff is all symbolically part of this whole story. And the themes are that the human form was genetically manipulated. I suggest it was genetically manipulated to tune us into the hack. If you've got a radio on a certain station, it's getting a certain reality by decoding the frequency of that station, and then you hack into that station and you change the reality of the experience of the reality, and to do that you have to get to the station dial onto your new hacked frequency that you're imposing. That's basically what's happened. And so the process, once that was done, of a copy that at the time wasn't a million miles different from the reality it was a copy of, though it was a bad copy of it. It's like literally like downloading a copy of something on a computer. I mean, we're not talking computers on a desktop. We're talking unbelievable levels of possibility and awareness to do that. But then, over this period since this hack was kicked in, they have been slowly now at a very fast rate changing the hack into an even more extreme version, which is closer and closer to what they are, they being the entities that have done it. And they are incredibly robotic. This is what Christianity calls the demons. It's what Islam calls the jinn. It's what the ancient Gnostics called the archons. The different names for it all over the world in different cultures. Same theme, same force we're talking about. It's very robotic, it's very computer-like, and it has no emotion. Now, what I'm describing here are the bloodlines that are being identified in the hack, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the royal families, and all these people. They are representatives, they are, if you like, the ancient Agent Smiths of these hack creators within the hack to manipulate on their behalf. They're middlemen and women manipulating within the hack. And the idea is to move us and the hack closer and closer and closer to what they are, computer-like robots. And transhumanism, which is to introduce more and more technology in the body, so we're part robot, part human, is all part of this story, because it's making us more and more and more like they are. They do not have what I call creative imagination. Humans have it, they do not have it, for reasons I talk about at length in my books. And thus, they are feeding and manipulating human creativity to create our own prison. They are parasites. Thus, what is the banking system, which is their banking system? It's parasitic. What is the corporation network, which is their corporation network? Parasitic. What are the royal families? Parasitic. What are the governments? Parasitic. And they're all expressions of this force, because these Agent Smiths, if you like, have taken over government, they've taken over corporations, in fact they created them, they've taken over the medical system, which is why alternative sources of health are suppressed and practitioners targeted. This is why they're filling us with vaccines and rubbish and chemical toxins in the food and in the drink and in the water. It's all connected. It's suppressing human potential down to them, because if you are one-eyed and you want to control two-eyed, you have got to make the two-eyed blind. And that is what is going on. Multi-level, constantly, 24/7, to make humans blind. So in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man this force is king. And Alex, on your show every day, you are presenting stories of the multi-level expressions of what I've just talked about. Dumbing down, dumbing down, dumbing down. Education, dumbing down. Why? Because they do not want a clear-thinking, sharp, open-minded, expanded awareness that is going to see the game for what it is. And I have to say this too. I mean, this might upset a few people. I really don't care. I'm not...
Feel it when you go to work, to church, or pay your taxes. It is the world that is being pulled over your